Okay, the time is 7 p.m. There are 5 members of council present. A quorum is established. I call this meeting to order. Will you please rise at this time for the Pledge of Allegiance? Councilmember King, please lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. While everybody's getting settled, just let council know that our attorney, Megan Williams, is dialed in by phone tonight. So if we need to ask for her guidance or information on any topic, we'll be able to do so. Item number 3 is public comment. We had an individual request to address council after our agenda was set. And because it is a budget meeting, we want to make sure that any member of the public who wishes to be heard as we finalize our budget has that opportunity to speak. So I'd ask at this time if there's any individual, citizen, resident who wishes to speak on any item on the agenda. Max, we've already got you down. You're good. Please feel free to raise your hand and I will call you forward. Jordan Campbell, looks like you are it.
Okay.
Everyone looked at you, so you were the one.
All right.
Good evening, Jordan.
Good evening. I'm just going to pass those.
Thank you.
And if you don't have one in the audience, I think all of my board members already have one. But if you would pass those around and feel free to take one if you'd like. Well, hello, City Council and Mayor, City Clerk. My name is Jordan Campbell. I'm the Executive Director of the Gateway Regional Arts Center. And I just wanted to come tonight to, first of all, say thank you to City Council and to the Mayor and to everybody involved in City Hall for supporting the arts and culture in our community in the budget every year. It makes a huge difference to our citizens and for their quality of life. So last year's investment from the City of Mount Sterling's restaurant tax was $18,068.69. That has been fairly consistent around that amount from the restaurant tax. Because of those dollars, we were able to reach 25,000 people last fiscal year. 25,000. That's more than three times the population of Mount Sterling in the city limits, and almost the population of our county. And we know many of those people are coming into Mount Sterling and spending money. We're able to provide programs such as our art recovery with women in the Montgomery County Jail, the Gateway Wellbeing Program in partnership with CHI St. Joseph, where we offer free classes in health and wellness. Our Creative Freedom Program, this is a new initiative, Arts and Veterans Initiative, that we partnered with American Legion Post 22 on, and Pottery for Change with Gateway Children's Services, where they come over every week and take a pottery class. So those are where those dollars go, and they make a huge impact, not only through the arts, but through transformative moments of change, real change in people's lives. So just a little more about that economic impact, because I know all this is great talk, but what about the numbers, right? So in fiscal year 23, we received that $18,068. Our events and classes, however, produced an estimated $39,964 in local government revenue. So for every dollar that the city allotted for the Arts Center, we gave you back $2 and change. So that's a pretty good investment, a return on your investment. For every dollar that the city leverages, we are more than able to double those dollars in profits for the tax base. And this is data from the Americans for the Arts Economic Prosperity Fund. If you'd like to look that up, this is where that information comes from. It's a nationwide study on the impact of the arts. In fiscal year 23, our audience has spent an estimated $785,000 on auxiliary costs. That means tickets, dinner at our local restaurants in our community, travel costs, an outfit at a local boutique, flowers for performers in a show. All in all, it's over $785,000 leveraged just from graphic events. Our economic impact is the equivalent of creation of 26 local full-time equivalent jobs. So they have an algorithm that says the amount that you were spending, the amount that you were bringing in is the equivalent of an estimated 26 full-time jobs. Pretty amazing. And we also produce an estimated $60,000 in state government revenue. We know that people are traveling from all over the state to come here. And so when they go and eat dinner somewhere else, or spend money at a gas station, or wherever they're going, when they come or leave Mount Sterling, we are benefiting the statewide economy. And all in all, we generated an estimated $1.049 million in the local and state economy in one fiscal year. So that's where your $18,000 is going and where our citizens' tax dollars are going. I also want to mention the city funding for the mural fund, the $10,000 that was allotted for a single mural. I don't know, I can't speak on what year that was, what budget that was in. But the $10,000, we leveraged that, not just one mural, not just our Welcome to Mount Sterling mural that we all love. We actually got 4 murals out of that $10,000. So we stretched the dollar as far as we could. We had a summer artist in residence from Mount Sterling, and she added 3 more to that list. So out of that $10,000, we know that these numbers come from the Transportation Cabinet, their traffic counts map, so it's directly from their site. We know that about 11,000 views of those 4 murals take place every day in Mount Sterling. And annually, 365 days, that is over 4 million views. Now, I can't promise that every time somebody passes the deer mural that they're looking at it, but we know that that is how many potential views that $10,000, that's pretty good for $10,000. I think that was a pretty good investment. And we continue to get so many wonderful compliments on those things. So all of this to say, and I don't want to take any more time, I hope that the city will consider not only maintaining the amount that we receive, but actually increasing the amount. Because we are doing more with less. Imagine what we could do with more. So I appreciate your commitment to the arts and culture. I know you all know it means to our community. And hope you'll consider earmarked programs such as the Mural Initiative, and also an increase in that restaurant percentage that we receive. So thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Jordan. Jordan, I don't want to speak for everyone up here, but I think they'll echo my thoughts here. We are so appreciative to you and your staff for all of the hard work down at the Gateway Regional Arts Center. You're all doing amazing things down there. And if someone hadn't had the opportunity to check them out, go down and check them out. There's good things happening there. Thanks to the board. I see we have so many members of the board here tonight. Thank you all for coming over to visit with us, and thank you for your service on the board. It's so important that we have good people serving on boards throughout this community, and I see a lot of great people right out looking at me tonight that serve on that board at the Gateway Regional Arts Center. So thank you. It is so important that we have arts in our community. If we're going to be a progressive, forward-thinking community, and in a community that others are looking to for leadership, we have to lead in all areas. And we are leading in the arts. East of Lexington, I don't know if anybody's competing with us, and I'll just throw it out there. I think we're running neck and neck with Lexington right now. We're doing a great job. And lastly, I'll just say to the GRAC, thank you. You are putting us on the map. People are discovering Mount Sterling every single day because of the good things that are happening there. So thank you all from me, from this council. Thank you all so much for all of the hard work. We appreciate you. Okay. Is there any other member of the public who wish to address council on any of our agenda items this evening? Okay, thank you all very much. Next, item number 4, we have a guest, Mr. Max Hammond, the Executive Director of Warriors Path of Kentucky. And Max, if you want to come up to the microphone, we're going to turn it over to you. And if you'd like to introduce your guest tonight, please feel free to do so.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council people, for allowing us to speak before you tonight. And we're here also to talk about economic development. There's things beyond the arts that Mount Sterling needs to be made famous for. So I brought a team with me today, and I'd like to introduce them to you. Mr. Russell Clark from the National Park Service. Russ, would you like to come up and explain to people briefly what you do?
Sure. I'm with the program called Rivers, Trails, and Conservation Assistance. And we're the Partnerships Division of the Park Service. We provide free technical planning assistance to communities, municipalities, nonprofit organizations, and tribal nations across the country. I'm out of the field office here in Kentucky, and on Mountain Cave. And my background as a landscape architect, I have been designing parks my entire career. So we can provide free technical planning assistance for parks, trails, all types, whether they be land-based or water-based trails. And it's through an application process. Our application's online, the brochure I'm handing out has that information, and applications are due March 1st of each year. And I can assist the community with the application if they have a project in mind, if they'd like some technical planning assistance for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ.
I'd also like to introduce Zach Gray from the University of Kentucky. He's working on the Monuments Project with the Mellon Foundation.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and thank you all for letting us be here. It's, I know it's a full house, so we'll be brief. We appreciate the invitation. We've got a grant from the Mellon Foundation in UK for what we call the Monument Workshop at UK. Mellon's got this bigger monument project that they're working on. But our idea for the workshop, what we're working on is we can bring together, we have funding for researchers, students, faculty at UK, but also artists and people outside the university to help people think about ways to develop, protect monuments that exist in their community, places that people know about, but also places like a lot of the stuff that Max and Judy and the Warriors Path is working on. And I came to start talking to Max through Stephanie Spirit at EKU. It's EKU where my wife teaches. And so thinking about things that can be sustainable and good for development, that can be places of recognition, that's a big part of what Mellon is interested in and what we're interested in too. So to the extent that there are, like Russ said, we want to come where there's an invitation, where there are places that people want to preserve. And a lot of what Russ is talking about in terms of the support that he can provide in terms of application, thinking about grants for trail-based stuff. That's stuff that's interesting to us, but we can also help with other things too. Anyway, we're very happy to be here. We've really enjoyed getting to speak with Max and Judy and like sharing a little bit of their time, but we know you guys are busy. So I'll turn the floor back over to Max because he's got a lot more to say about his project. Thank you all for letting us be here.
Thank you, Zach.
The mayor warned me that y'all have a huge agenda tonight, so I'm going to tell a long history in a short period of time. The nation's oldest interstate highway, the nation's oldest north-south interstate highway, passed directly through Mount Sterling, Kentucky. It's very old. Does anybody know how old it is? It was a route of commerce for 12,500 years. It connected the Gulf of Mexico with the Great Lakes. And it was a route of trade between all the diverse people of North America for over 10,000 years. And we know that because here in the interior of Kentucky, and I will say within the vicinity of Mount Sterling here, we find conch shells from the Gulf Coast. We find silver and gold from more distant lands. We find copper from the Great Lakes area. And that route of commerce worked for 10,000 years until people like me and my ancestors came through the Cumberland Gap, just like the Irish. And then it became known as the Warriors Path. Before then, according to the research that we did, and we looked at ancient maps, it was known as the Common Path. So we want to take the Warriors Path and once again turn it into a route of commerce that tells the full story of all the people of Kentucky. And once again, contributes to the economy of Eastern Kentucky. And Tracy allowed me to address her group a couple of years ago, and she can vouch for how important tourism is to us. So we're working with the National Park Service, and we're working with 20 other counties and numerous municipalities throughout Eastern Kentucky, and partners in Tennessee and Ohio to reestablish this 12,500-year-old route into a national bike route, into a national heritage route. Well, that bike route is pretty important. According to a study done by Dr. Peter Hackberg at Berea College, bicyclists spend more money than any other demographic. We're going to have 3 national bike routes that are going to create a triangle in eastern Kentucky if our plans succeed. The other part of the Warriors Path, if you look on a map of all the national trails, you'll see that the Appalachian Trail is coming down close to the southeast corner of Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, down in there. And the North Country Trail is coming to Portsmouth, Ohio. The Warriors Path reaches from the Cumberland Gap to Portsmouth, Ohio. So we could be the last connecting leg on this giant loop of the Appalachian Trail. And we can fully and finally have the opportunity for all of us to tell our own story. To dispel the myth that Native Americans never lived in Kentucky. And it is a myth if you want to be kind, if you want to be truthful, it's a lie. So the last Indian village that we know of in Kentucky was in the 1750s along the Ohio River at South Portsmouth, at a place called Lower Shawnee. There's still earthworks there, 3,000 years old, just like there's still earthworks here. 1,500 Native Americans lived there. Wyandots, Delaware, Cherokee, Shawnee, and they traded with the French. They traded with the Spanish, and they traded with the British. And a lot of those trade goods came into this country also. And a lot of trade goods came out of this country. Flint, salt, other items. So we want to reestablish that path. We want to put that bike route right through the heart of downtown Mount Sterling. And we have identified a historical route, but it will be up to your city council here to designate exactly where you want that route to be. And I think Tracy might be able to help us get some wayfinding signage along that route. And we can once again use that ancient route, that ancient interstate, as a path of commerce to help us all. Now, tonight's June 18th. So I told you I wanted to use the Warriors Path to tell the story of all the peoples of Kentucky. So there was an Indian raid on Boonesboro, and the Indians caught the blacksmith and a young lady out away from the fort. And these Wyandotte warriors, they were pretty fierce, and they were pretty, this group was pretty mean. So anyway, they captured this young lady, and in front of the rest of the inhabitants of the fort, I'll kind of warn you all here, they dispatched that young lady. They did not dispatch the blacksmith, though. They knew the blacksmith was valuable because he could repair firearms. He was also the orchardist at Boonesboro. He knew how to grow apple trees and graft them. He knew how to make gunpowder. So they took him with them, and guess what? The pioneers didn't want to have none of that, so they followed him. They followed him to a place known as Little Mountain. So they had the blacksmith bound up, and they were camping, resting at Little Mountain. The blacksmith could hear the settlers coming. So even though he was tied up and under threat of death, he called out to the settlers and warned them of the ambush. He even told them how many Wyandotte Indians they were that were going to ambush him. So gunfire erupted. Captain James Estill had a knife go through his heart. Estill County was named after him. And the fight raged on. A young gentleman was shot through both hips, Mr. Berry, and 17 Wyandotte Indians were killed at Little Mountain. And the blacksmith escaped. He got away from the Native Americans, and he picked up Mr. Berry, threw him over his shoulder, and carried him 25 miles to safety. Folks, that man became the very first freed slave in Kentucky because of his actions at Little Mountain. Do y'all know where Little Mountain is? Mount Sterling, Kentucky. So even before the Commonwealth became a state, because of a man's heroic actions here, he became the first emancipated slave. And there is no monument to him here. I think there is a historic marker about the Little Mountain But I would propose to you all, that perhaps the arts community, perhaps tourism, and all of us can work together with the University of Kentucky and put up a monument to Monk Isler. So that's my June 10th story.
Thank you very much, Max. Anything from council? Any questions? Thank you so much for your presentation. Yes, we want to preserve our history in this community. We're very proud of our history, and we want to make sure we keep sharing that for generations
Yes,
to
sir.
come. So we will work with you however we can. If you have a PowerPoint, I've seen the PowerPoint of the Historical Society. If you can get that to me, I'll distribute that to our council members.
Yeah.
Make sure they have that, and then we will work in cooperation with the Montgomery County Fiscal Court, however we can, to help with this initiative to at least start with wayfinding or signage throughout our community.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. Here's my cards. If you want to pass them around, feel free to call me at any time.
Thank you so much. Be safe going home
Yeah,
tonight.
y'all take care.
All right, item number 5 is the approval of the May 21st, 2024 council meeting minutes. I'll give you an opportunity to look those over, and then we'll just need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by King,
Second.
second by Hilton. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes. Hilton. Aye. King. Aye. Murphy. Aye. Triple.
Item number 6 is May financial reports. These are in your package. These are for your review. Give you an opportunity to look those over. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to bring those forward. Hearing no questions, item number 7, department head and committee reports. We'll start tonight. Is Chief here? There's Chief. Chief of Police Terry Landrum. Good evening, Chief.
Good afternoon. Well, we're glad to have our first Friday successful event past us. We had no issues at all. It was a good event for everybody. We completed 3 of our 6 qualifications last night. We got 3 more to do. We qualified 6 times a year. Different weapons. Officer Donaldson, their newest hire, he's been doing great. I've got several compliments from citizens on his job, how he's performing, and been impressed with his actions. We've got several cars going down this week with the heat. Batteries going out of them, the air conditioners going out. So we're kind of struggling with that today. Last week, or last month, we had 633 calls. We had 29 calls just to check on the welfare of the individual. We did 128 traffic stops. We had 11 thefts. We had 32 suspicious person calls, persons, vehicles, and activity. 6 shopliftings, and 18 reckless drivers. We had 20 times we answered just questions. We had 2 prowlers, 6 parking violations. We had 40 accidents. 30 of them was non-injury. 7 were hit and run, and 3 was injury accidents. Only 3 narcotics overdoses, which is still pretty good for us. 20 cases of loud music complaints. 22 intoxicated individuals. We only had 3 internet fraud cases this time. Been taking the lead on that. 4 fights in progress. We escorted 4 funerals. We locked up 15 people for drug trafficking. And 11 domestic violence calls. We had 2 dog bites and 8 animal complaints. One of the animal complaints is raccoons, possums getting into people's houses, garbage cans. 19 disorderly conducts. We cleared the lots 12 times. We've had some instances at the mound. We'll try to run them off. We do a lot of litter up there and vandalism, fire too. And Walmart always has a few. We had 2 cases with children locked inside vehicles, 3 burglaries, 5 assaults, and 34 alarms. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief. Another good report. Appreciate all the hard work from our officers. Please pass on our thanks for just being forward in the community, being seen in the community, interacting with the citizens of our community. Love seeing them down at First Friday, just taking pictures with kids.
Yes.
There's that other side policing that people forget about, that, you know, that we say all the time. A lot of people, when they're having an encounter with a police officer, it's a bad day. And we need to make sure the public knows that there's a lot of good days when you're interacting with the police. So please keep getting them out and interacting with the public every chance we get.
We're doing a good job of stopping, playing basketball with children, or just stopping and talking to them.
Absolutely.
Checking on the old folks sitting on the porch. We're doing a real good job, and I get a lot of confidence.
Good. Tell them keep up the good work. For council, I just want to remind you all, he had just mentioned the night shoot. If there's any training events that you're interested in attending, participating, well, not so much participating, but attending and watching or observing, just let Chief know and he'll make sure he contacts you to set that up for you. So, thank you, Chief. Director of Public Works, Nathan Boston.
Good evening, you all.
Good evening, Nathan.
Excuse me, I'm not in my uniform, I'm just lucky I got clothes on. Been a long and hard day. First off, I want to tell y'all how lucky you are with the group I have. We had 3 today, almost went down, just for the heat. So, but, on a good note, y'all know how pessimistic I am. We had 4 different people stop and give us drinks, Gatorade, water. That still don't change my mind. For the most part, it's still very nice at the public. One guy said he was actually moved here from Fort Myers, I believe, from Florida. Worked in the Public Works Department and dropped them off and said, you know, I know what y'all are going through. So it meant a lot. Speaking of that, we've poured 2 more sidewalks. We worked on one today, a curb and a sidewalk for the post cleaning. That's 7.5 yards of concrete.
Looks good.
Pardon?
Looks good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was a tough day. We did hire a young man, Dakota Hunley, seasonal, very well mannered young man. He's going to help us during the summer seasonal, maybe bring him on full time, see how it goes. So, but he really is a very, very well young man. We don't know how long that'll last, because we know who he's working with, and we'll try to change him, but that's part of it. Give you my final numbers for this last month. We had spring cleanup, and we weren't completely done when we had our last meeting. We ended up getting a little over 56 tons, which was a little higher than the year before. We had 53 the year before. The good thing, we only picked up 96 mattresses compared to 130 the year before. But for the most part, it was pretty the same. We're doing paint pickup right now. So far, we still got 3 more days left, but so far we picked up 253 gallons. Last year we only had 61 gallons total, so that's a big thing. And again, I want to give the county a shout out. They actually let us bring it up there and put it in their dumpster, so we don't have a dumpster, they have a dumpster, so we're working together on that, but they're working with us. We put up 24 new street signs, street name ones were faded, so we've been doing that. We've got 4 more to go for this year's project. We got all the trees trimmed downtown. The tree company, we had cutting trees down on Redford Alley. I don't know if you know that, but they finally finished that project. Those are down. We had a few that was about to fall, so we just figured we'd get them down before they get someone's house. Ran the sweeper out in Camargo, billed him for that. He sent in the request for us to do it. We've had to replace, since the first of the year, 23 signs due to vandalism and cars getting. Thought that was lower than what you thought, Mayor?
We were averaging 1 per week for a while, so let me do the math where we're at in the year.
14 of them were vehicle related that nobody ever sees. storm drain. And the other were 9 vandalism, whether they spray painted or put a sticker or something like that. Now, I got y'all some stats. They're not as good as the Chiefs, but I just thought I'll let you all know what we did. This past month, we picked up 1 skunk, 5 rabbits, 2 possums, 3 cats, 16 squirrels, that went up since this morning, and 1 fox.
Are they dead?
Yeah,
I didn't say it.
yeah, they're dead. That is our number. So, y'all have anything for us?
Out of them 23 signs, was any of them the states?
No. Yeah, it's one of theirs, so I let them know.
Do you pick up live stunts, by chance?
No.
I've got one that's like at my house.
I think you call the police on that.
Okay.
But no, it's just rodeo. So,
Unless you run over it, Tracy, and then they go.
yeah, you run over it back and
I
out.
think
and
you kill
come
her.
in for you. Y'all have any-